Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, Don. Welcome back to the baseball head. Hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So, Mets didn't lose today to the Dodgers. The Mets got rained out. It poured like a mother, I tell you. It rained crazy here. Around 3:30, 4 o'clock, holy hell. And the Mets got rained out. They're going to play a twilight doubleheader on Tuesday at Citi Field. Hopefully things will start to pick up. This has been a rough month for all of us. Particular people that really want the team to be good, and that's the fans. But I would mention, just as a YouTuber, the Mets not being good right now is not good for my business. It's not good for business. It's not good for the other YouTubers that are big Met fans, and content is basically the day-to-day results of the games. So we struggle. I've seen this now for the last 4 seasons now. When the Mets are good and they're in it, the off season or during the regular season, we do well when the team is into it. They're into bringing in big players. And when they're not into it, it's a real struggle for us to find things to talk about. Fortunately, or unfortunately, for this channel, I've been talking about this club and just hammering away at them. And I'm going to keep hammering. I hate having to do that. But I've seen enough of this thing. But, even if you're getting paid to do this stuff, and I'm getting paid to do this stuff, it's tough, and not just for us, but the real professionals, quote unquote. But these guys are great as the Met announcers, both on the radio and on TV. I mean, the Mets have the best announcers in baseball, and probably some of the best announcers in sports, both on TV and on the radio. And as you know, the Mets got Gary, Keith, and Ron on SNY and Channel 11. That's Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, and Ron Darling. They are the best. The best booth in baseball. And even now, in May, it is really wearing down on them. Now, I did not watch Saturday's game. I was out most of the day. So I had no, interaction with this game. I saw some highlights or some lowlights. We know that Edwin Diaz blew the game again. But this is really getting everybody down, everybody dejected, including the Mets announcers. This is from Awful Announcing. I got an article here, and it really delves into some of the things that are being said in the booth, and in particular at the very end of this game, because the Mets were winning this game against the Giants, and Edwin Diaz blew the game. The game went to 10 innings, and the Mets basically fell apart. And it was very difficult for them to really sort of get through it. The headline: Mets announcers clearly dejected after team's latest stumble. Quote, there's losing, and then there's what's happening here. This is just gut-wrenching. I mean, geez. New York Mets lost once again Saturday, leaving the team's TV broadcasters clearly dejected as they discussed the club's recent struggles. The San Francisco Giants scored 5 runs in the top of the 10, beat the Mets 7-2. It marked the team's 5th straight loss and 10th in 12 games. Now we know in Game 3 of the series, the Mets beat the Giants in the 9th inning on a walk-off. Boy, they were losing in that game. Quote, boy, oh boy, it feels like the sky's falling, analyst Keith Hernandez said. Quote, it has felt like that virtually every day for the last month, play-by-play man Gary Cohen pointed out. Wow. Cohen, Hernandez, and analyst Ron Darling have seen this story too many times recently. The Mets were arguably the biggest disappointment in MLB in 2023, finishing 75-87 despite the highest payroll in baseball. The team was supposed to be improved this season. I don't know about that. They didn't make any big moves, but they were supposed to be competitive. They've been competitive, but they've been losing the game. I mean, you can be competitive and lose the games, but that's what they've been doing. But it's now 21-30, which is really 22-30 after Saturday's loss. Mets broadcast trio talked at length during that ill-fated 10th inning about how the players can maintain their confidence Wonder how the team can recover from this funk. This is not a funk. Funk that. Fuck this. Funk that. This is just a bad team. Quote, how hard is to keep a positive attitude when the roof is caving in every day? Cohen asks. Quote, this is from Ron Darling. There's losing and then there's what's happening here, and it's two different things. This is just gut-wrenching, Ronnie said. Quote, the Mets are now 9-22. Let's get this straight. This is before Sunday's win. The Mets are now 9-2 in the last 31 games. It was 6-17 for the month of May. They're 7-17 now. Remember, the sun will come up tomorrow. As difficult as that may be to realize, Cohen concluded on an optimistic note. That's the last thing that was said on the broadcast. I mean, these losses are just gut-wrenching. And there's nothing worse than when your closer blows it. And there's nothing worse when you're in a losing streak, folks, and your closer blows it, and it makes the losing streak worse and longer and gets even just terribly done. Now, as you know, we've been watching this stuff for a while now, for the past year and a half. I've sort of come to the conclusion that this team has to be completely ripped apart. The problem with doing that is that it really affects the next season. Because you can't strip the whole thing down to bare knuckles and expect to be good next year. That's the problem. This issue is such a problem now that it's going to affect next year, to where this team can be completely different. Now, I've said over the last few weeks that in all likelihood, the four main players that are part of this core, in terms of everyday players, half of them are going to be gone. But now I'm starting to see that maybe one player might be, might be the only guy standing. Will probably be Brandon Nimmo. I think Evan Diaz could probably go too. But he needs to get himself righted. Because right now he has no value. But this is, to be honest with you, I love talking about baseball. I love talking about the games and talking about the Mets and stuff. But this stuff, boy, it gets to you, Just listening to these clips, and I was listening to the clips. I don't play them here because I don't want to get in trouble. But, I listened to the clips of the broadcast. And you've been kind of hearing it. I've been hearing it from Gary. Gary will be the one that'll tell you when there's an issue. Gary's always the sort of the sounding board of what's going on and how we're thinking. Because he's a Mets fan. And he's been there. He's been there and he's done that. And he's seen it. So when Gary starts, going after the club, that's basically, he's the voice of us. Just like Howie Rose is on the radio. When they start putting out their critiques and they start really hammering away at what's going on, he's basically voicing what we're all feeling. And Gary's very good at that. He's been doing this a long time. He's very good at voicing the opinion of us. He takes it very seriously, how he talks about us. And Gary's been kind of sort of, you can tell that it's simmering. He mentioned it on Friday when the Mets were playing the Giants to David Stern, saying that last year the Mets collapsed in June. This year is in May. And he made sure that he knew that. He made damn sure to Stearns that he knew exactly what he meant by that this situation was happening earlier, happening a month earlier. Just imagine it's going to happen in June. You're going 7-17 in May. Teams that have those kinds of months don't bounce back from it. Now, it's very difficult, like I said, to talk about this stuff. Everyone mentioned super things here or there that doesn't hurt, because that helps the channel. The channel's doing pretty good, believe it or not. I'm surprised. But once we get closer to the trade deadline, this channel is going to be kind of kaput unless they start moving some of these bigger pieces. And the Prospect Hut, which is the companion channel of this channel. I'll put the link in the description to Prospect Hut. Because that channel, if this team collapses, that channel's going to start to pick up again. It's doing okay, it does its thing. But if the Mets start moving players out of here and they start bringing in prospects, that channel's going to be percolating pretty good like it did last year. But anyway, enough about me and my other channel. But, I want to give you the best content here. And the best content is on the field. But when the team is not doing their best, when the team stinks, when the team is not doing what it's supposed to do, and that's winning, we're gonna make fun of these players. When things don't go well, we don't cry about it here. What we do here is we start making fun of people, and that's what we're gonna start doing. And I've begun to do that on the baseball head too, but I will do that here. We'll be making, basically ripping these players apart up and down. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere as a YouTuber. I'm not going anywhere as a commentator. You're not going anywhere as fans. The players, that's a different story. You don't perform well, we're going to get you out of here. And that's my attitude. I don't want, some of these players, I just don't want them here. One in particular, I want him out of here. That's Francisco Lindor. He has to go. That's a goal of this channel, is to be influential enough to get him out of here. He cannot stay here. He cannot produce. And I don't care how much money he has. The money can be moved. We saw that last year with Scherzer and Verlander, and he's at a premium position as a shortstop. There are teams that need a shortstop. 2 in particular. Quite a few, actually, that would be willing to take on a player of his magnitude in terms of contract and background. And of course, the baseball card, the back of the baseball card. Anyway, it's tough, but this is what I do here at the Baseball Hut, is bring you the best of myself and try to parlay it into something entertaining. I hope it is entertaining. Hopefully Dick is entertained. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.